My name's Asim Munir. I work as a tenant involvement coordinator for Rotherham Council, and we manage around 20,300 council properties. And I'm going to talk about our approach towards tenant engagement in Rotherham, and in particular, how we've risen to the challenge in the last year as well. We've got a tenant engagement framework which sets out our strategic direction for the council and ensure that tenants are at the heart of everything we do and ensuring our neighbourhoods and tenancies are sustainable. And in order to achieve this, we have developed 4 key outcomes in consultation with our tenants. Outcome 1, make tenant involvement an integral part of our business by involving and consulting tenants to enable services to be shaped to meet their needs. And outcome 2, widen and increase engagement by offering a range of ways that tenants can get involved, including digital inclusion, which has really accelerated in the last year. Outcome 3, enable tenants to make a difference to their neighbourhoods where communities are healthy, safe and proud of where they live. And outcome 4, maximise scrutiny and accountability to ensure that tenants have confidence in our services by listening and working together to make a difference. The tenant engagement framework, we want to ensure it adds value to our other strategies and plans. We have an action plan which is monitored by our housing involvement panel, which I'll talk about shortly. The action plan has been further updated in light of the new housing white paper. We will be updating and revising the framework to ensure alignment with the new housing white paper, and I'm sure many of you will be doing this as well. And as part of our successful tenant involvement journey in recent years, we have achieved TPAT accreditation for another 3 years for the second time. I'm going to talk about our menu of options. We are very fortunate in Rotherham because we have a contract with Rotherham, our local tenant federation, who support Taras and tenants on our behalf to get involved in our housing services and with digital inclusion. And I'll talk about some of the fantastic work that they've done in the last year right into the pandemic shortly. Rotherham also managed the tenant scrutiny panel on our behalf, and they have done 4 scrutiny reviews already for us, which have added value and had an impact. The first one was how we can improve engagement with young people. And some of the outcomes from that was we developed a young tenant forum. Young tenants felt they weren't treated with the respect and dignity by some of our customer care staff. So what we did is we delivered some customer care and equality training to our frontline staff. And also we have done other scrutiny reviews such as repairs and maintenance, which informed our new contract, which was awarded to Mears and Energy last year, and also a scrutiny review around antisocial behaviour, which had led to further improvement such as around developing antisocial behaviour policy. Also, tenants felt better communicated by text messages rather than letters, so we put text in place for that. And the last one we've done recently is aids and adaptations. We also have a housing involvement panel, which acts as a consultation and service development forum and decision making for housing services. So recently they've been involved in the new housing allocation policy, housing revenue account business plan, and also the new housing development that's taking place across Rotherham. And also they've been involved in shaping the action plan and responding to the housing white paper. We also do a garden competition, and we did that for the first time virtually last year. That's been very popular with our tenants. And also we have an annual tenant open day every year for where we can celebrate our performance and give tenants an opportunity to have a say in some of our services, and also an opportunity for other stakeholders to promote their services through their stalls. This year we did it through Microsoft Teams due to the pandemic, which 40-50 people attended. And you can watch that event on our webpage as we recorded the event. We also have 25 ward housing hubs across the borough, which give tenants an opportunity to monitor performance and services in their ward and neighbourhood. And also they have a budget to spend on environmental improvement in their area. And And these are some of the projects that have been funded in the last year. A-frame CCTV systems to combat ASB and crime, play areas on housing land, fencing and bollards, planted bulbs and shrubs, solar lighting, trees, outdoor seating at neighbourhood centres, benches, parking bays, footpaths, to gates, to garage sites. So a wide range of environmental improvement that tenants can make in their neighbourhoods and wards. Rising to the challenge of the pandemic has been a very interesting year, as I'm sure for many of you as well. The Council has stayed strong in the face of adversity and unprecedented times to enable and encourage us to rise to the challenge. We have ensured that we continue to support our tenants, including the most vulnerable, and maintain our tenant engagement activities with great support from Rotherham. However, the current pandemic has restricted the engagement offer as face-to-face meetings have been unable to take place. Therefore, the ward housing hubs have been operating digitally and virtually successfully since implementation last year, which has consisted of project proposals being submitted via our website and telephone contact with tenants and virtual ward member briefings with our ward members and officers. During the pandemic, Rotherham has supported us to increase the number of tenants involved with ward activities, as well as the formal meetings that have been reinstated virtually, such as tenant scrutiny panel and housing involvement panel, which have been reinstated through Microsoft Teams. And Rotherham have been brilliant in getting some of our long-standing tenant volunteers who have been tended to be from the elderly population, who are very resistant in recent years to get involved digitally, but they have been trained by Rotherham to access our meeting. So it has been a major breakthrough. And within the cohort of tenants that have been involved in ward housing hubs over the last year, they have identified further new tenants from underrepresented groups such as BME, Black, Asian and minority ethnic, young and disabled who are interested in staying involved. So our focus in the coming months will be to help and coach, prepare these tenants to become active tenant representatives within their community with support from Rotherham. Rotherham have supported and empowered 75 community groups during the pandemic to ensure they have the right skills and equipment to offer support to vulnerable residents within their communities. And this has been very wide ranging, from anything to virtual exercises, virtual coffee mornings, delivering food parcels to tenants. So it's been very rewarding and benefiting for those tenants. Rotherham have been undertaking befriending calls with lonely and isolated residents as a result of the pandemic. Some of the people they've been talking to now have multiple and complex needs, as the current lockdown has taken its toll on mental health and loneliness. Since April last year, Rotherham has supported over 300 Rotherham residents through this project, 124 of which are council tenants, and 45 active volunteers from diverse backgrounds are currently making calls to 160 residents involved at present. Rising to the challenge of the pandemic, we've had a virtual tenant open day and a virtual garden competition, and it had been fantastic that we've still managed to keep these events going. The year ahead is we'll be looking to respond to the requirements of the housing white paper. We'll be looking to extend the menu of options following the easing of lockdown restrictions. We'll be looking to build an hybrid approach to tenant engagement, further building on the digital success and reinstating face-to-face meetings, because many of our tenants have missed interacting with everybody face-to-face, and it has had an impact on their mental health and loneliness. So although digital inclusion has been a great success, it's important we do a combination of both. And following the end of the roadmap, we will continue to support our most vulnerable tenants with a resurgence of Ataras and befriending calls to tackle loneliness and mental health.